Okay. Say hi.
Hi.
Hello, and welcome back to my channel. It still feels weird talking into my camera like this. But anyways, I wanted to kind of talk about the do's and don'ts of road tripping with a baby. What do you think, Robbie? Do you have some advice? Just a little background. So last year, I had quit my full-time job, and so I was full-time stay-at-home mom, and my husband luckily has the flexibility to take off when the idea started to take a road trip, because we had a wedding out in California to attend. And so we initially were like, what if we drive there and make a whole road trip out of it? So that's what sparked the idea. And then we kind of started looking into the route and figured that we would make as many national park stops as possible along that route. So that was our first big road trip that we took. And then this past Thanksgiving, we took a road trip down to Texas to visit family for the holidays, and it was total 20-hour drive to get down there. We split it up into two 10-hour days of driving, and so these tips are from our experience from both those road trips. Yeah, Radhi, do you have some input? Okay, she's just scribbling on my notes. By no means am I an expert or anything, but we've got quite a few miles, thank you, under our belt. So I figured I would kind of share what has worked for us and what we've learned along our journey. Okay, so let's jump right into it. Some do's. So the first one is something that we found was super helpful and convenient, was to have a diaper caddy. So we had this one right here, just brought it to show, but this is the one that we use. It's full of diapers right now because we just keep this on our first floor in the living room. And we have this little changing pad in it too. So, oh, okay. So on our trip, basically what we did was we would always have this diaper caddy stocked with diapers, wipes, lotion, and hand sanitizer, the changing pad, and what else? That's mostly what we had. It was just so easy to just grab this, put the changing pad down, get her changed instead of having to dig through a diaper bag or whatnot. So having a diaper caddy, super helpful. Feel free to put whatever you feel like is gonna be useful to you. For easy access, super convenient. Yeah. Number one, do have a diaper caddy. It's just very helpful to have. Okay, so my second do on my list is have everything you need for bottles. So at the time I was still pumping, and so I brought my pump along and my bottles for that, and then bottles for feeding, and then we did bring formula as well just to kind of supplement. And so having everything for feeding, all your bottles, all of your supplies for that. We had a thermos. The Stanley one is the one that we used, and it was great to just fill up with hot water, and it lasted the entire day, sometimes even longer. So that was very handy for making bottles on the go. That, and then another thing is a bottle cleaning kit. Super compact, so it's easy to just pack in our bags. So yeah, it comes like this. It's a little drying rack, and so this is where I would wash the bottles and put them on to dry. And it comes with this handy little silicone brush. I just packed our baby soap that we use for washing bottles in this little guy, and it also has a fine brush and another little one for the bottle top. So this was really handy. It's just nice to have on the go. So definitely recommend one of these. I know there's plenty, but this one I really like. Oh, one thing was I forgot to pack my pump charger. So I had to order and get it delivered to an address that we were at. So getting back into our do's, the third one is planning out your charge stops and bringing adapters. We own a Model Y Tesla, and so that's what we took on our road trip, so electric vehicle. And thankfully there's, you know, superchargers all across the country, but it's really important to figure out your route and where to make those stops. So we made sure to look at our route prior to hitting the road and seeing where all of our charge stops would be, just so we knew that there would be one there and we never would be like in a situation where we would be too low. We basically mapped it out that we would stop every 2 hours, and that was great too with a baby, because that was like perfect time for all of us to stretch it out and for baby to get out of car seat. Yeah, planning out our charging stops beforehand was very, very beneficial. Having adapters as well, because there are times where you might not have a supercharger on the way, like easily accessible. We ran into this. So basically we in the desert, and there weren't any superchargers within like 200 miles of us. And we ended up at a EV charger, and we had the adapter for it, but we did run into some issues with that charge stop, and it was like 95 degrees out. We were like burning up pretty much in the middle of nowhere, but thankfully we were able to get the car charged and get out of there to our next stop. So just having those adapters. We also ran into a situation where we were at a charging stop and someone approached us and they were completely stranded because they didn't have the adapter, so we lent them ours to be able to use and get charged up. But just planning it out. I know some people like to just go for it, which is great, but when you have a baby, being a little bit over prepared is worth it, in my opinion, just to make sure that you are just like ready for anything, doing your best with it. You know, you can't plan for everything, which leads me into my next do, is to be flexible, because like I just mentioned, it's impossible to kind of, you know, like be in control of everything. So just being flexible with whatever kind of comes is really important. Be flexible is one of my big 2 thumbs up do's. Just go with the flow, have a good time, take things as they come. So my last item on the do's list is to be prepared for blowouts. So we learned this very quickly, was that when your baby is sitting in a car seat upright, and even if you're stopping pretty frequently, when they go, there's nowhere to go but up. So there were quite a few outfits that we had to toss within those first couple of days. We learned to expect the blowouts and be prepared for that. So that is just my last one. Be prepared for anything, pretty much. So those are all my do's on road tripping with a baby. I'll go through them real quickly again. Bring a diaper caddy. Makes things so convenient, easy to access in the car, and making sure you have everything you need for bottles, especially if you have a younger baby, just making sure you have all of your items. I know that's probably just like common knowledge. Like as a first-time mom, it's not something that I would have known if I didn't do my research and stuff. So this is just me sharing for other maybe first-time moms going on their first road trip. Those are all the things that are must-haves. Make sure you have everything. Don't forget your pump charger if that is something that you are bringing along. Big one, plan ahead, plan as much as you can, and then be flexible with whatever is to come your way, and be prepared for those lovely blowouts. On to my don'ts. This list was a lot shorter than the do's, but still very important. So my first one is don't be rigid about schedules. This kind of goes hand in hand with being flexible, but I know as a first-time mom, I kind of was a little, I don't know, I don't want to say like strict, but kind of over the top about following schedules, especially with like week windows and all of that type of stuff prior to going on the road trip. And so I knew going in that I would have to kind of like toss that out the window and just go with the flow, which is really important to do when you're on the road with a baby, because you really don't have control over a lot of things. And it's great because babies are really adaptable too. So they really just are able to kind of naturally pick up on what's happening. And so I know our daughter was able to kind of shift and work with us with sleep and with like the new environment. She did really well, and I think we are very lucky in having a very adaptable baby, but I do think a lot of babies have that skill. So That's my number one. Another don't is don't overpack. You really don't need that much. Like, we were on the road for 3 weeks, and when it came to clothes, I really made sure to pack what I can like reuse and like basics, you know, that you could just like reuse throughout. And then when it comes to babies, they do need a lot of things. At the end of the day, babies just need your love and just for you to be there for them. And so, and milk. They need the milk. So a lot of the stuff that we did pack, I guess like it wasn't like an absolute need. So if your car is getting tight on space, or if you feel like you just have like way too much stuff, don't feel the need to pack everything, you know? And another perk is that you can always get stuff along the way if there's something that comes up that you're like, oh shoot, we didn't end up packing this, need this along the way, you can stop somewhere and get it. But just don't overpack. I feel like there was quite a few things that we packed that we genuinely just never even used or pulled out of our we packed everything in storage bins, clear storage bins, so it was easy to see and like grab whatever we needed, especially since we were kind of like on the move every single day. We had like different stops pretty much every day, so we had like an overnight bag where we would take whatever we needed, throw it in that bag, and take it into the hotel or wherever we were staying that night, and then we would leave the next morning. So just making things very simple for us. And then another thing is to not be afraid to call your accommodations ahead of time and see what kind of stuff they have for babies. A lot of places have pack and plays. They have items that you might need, so you don't need to pack it yourself. So the pack and play was really the only thing that I made sure to call up beforehand, and it was like set up and ready for us when we checked in, because some days we wouldn't get to our place until later in the evening. A lot of places are super, super great. So pretty much every single place that we stayed at was super great with that and helpful. So my last don't is don't be afraid to just go for it, because I know I was definitely hesitant because I'm like, no, it's totally possible. So many people do it, you know, but sometimes it can be scary, just like a new thing and like not knowing. So I would say just don't be afraid. Just like do it. And especially if you and your partner is equally as excited for a long journey like the one that we took, it'll be so great. And so don't let fear hold you back. Don't let anything hold you back, really. But with that, those are all my do's and don'ts of road tripping with a baby. I hope they were kind of helpful. If you're thinking of taking a road trip or you have one planned coming up, I wish you safe travels and have a great journey. Let me know if you have any questions, but otherwise, I will see you in my next video, which I plan to share day 2 of our road trip, which was going through the Badlands. Well, thanks for watching and listening to what I had to say. Those were just a few of my thoughts. Ravi, can you say thank you? Thank you. A little kiss. Mwah. 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 Not that in your mouth, please. Mwah. Yay, thank you. Oh, bye. See you next time.